Early in the morning on December 26, 1980, Security Policeman Sergeant Jim Peniston and John Burroughs of the United States Air Force were dispatched to check out a light in the forest just outside RAF Woodbridge, a British-turned U.S. Air Force base in Suffolk, England. As they moved into the forest, they noticed their radios were breaking up and unusable. Traveling deeper into the forest, they soon encountered a black triangular craft that Peniston states measured 9 feet by 9 feet by 9 feet and was about 7 feet tall. Peniston saw a type of hieroglyphs on the craft and copied them in his notebook. He got close enough and touched the craft. He states that it was quiet and smooth like glass. He also states that it was warm and that lights were showing throughout the fabric of the craft. It emitted a bright flash and lifted up, then flew away instantaneously. The men were knocked from their feet. They realized that their radios were working again and radioed their commander, who ordered them back to base. Once back at the base, Peniston was reluctant to tell the truth of what he saw, for obvious reasons. The commander issued a veiled warning. Some things are best left alone. Peniston went home but couldn't think of anything else, so he returned to the forest where he encountered the UFO. He used plaster of Paris to make molds of the indentations that were left by the craft. Peniston, still reluctant to tell anyone about the incident, hid the molds from his commanders. On December 27th, Colonel Charles Holt was at a holiday party at the base's officers' club when one of his men showed up and told him that it's back. "What's back?" Holt asked. The man answered back, "The UFO." Holt gathered 3 men and headed towards the forest, and passed through the area where the 2 airmen the night before reported to see the craft. Their radios were breaking up, just as the night before, and there were gashes in some of the trees around the area. The men measured high levels of radiation around the landing site, and pictures were taken of indentations in the ground. On December 29th, Larry Warren, a security policeman on the base, was ordered to the woods to help Colonel Holt's investigation. As he made his way through the forest, he saw a group of military personnel around a glowing object. He says there were no windows or doors. He states that 3 small, kid-like glowing beings were standing in front of the object. Warren was then taken to an underground part of the base and questioned further. He says that he doesn't know if these memories are real or planted. A couple of weeks after his first debriefing, Peniston was called in for a second interview with officials from the Office of Special Investigations. Peniston claims sodium pentothal, a truth serum, was used on him during the interview. Pictures taken by Peniston and Holt were developed, but all showed up completely white. Peniston believes they were intentionally blanked out. Now, this is the most interesting part of the story, in my opinion. When Peniston touched the craft and it emitted a bright light, he saw 1s and 0s, binary code. He continued to see the numbers and record them in his notebook. After he got home, he couldn't sleep and the numbers perturbed him greatly, but when he wrote them down and got them out of his head, he felt better and was able to finally sleep. At first he thought it was gibberish because he didn't know what binary code was. He didn't decipher it until 2010, when Peniston, Burroughs, and UFO researchers soon realized that what he saw was a binary message. They transcribed it and found something strange as well as intriguing. It reads, "Exploration of Humanity 666-8100. Continuous for planetary advan," and some people have speculated that this is actually saying continuous for planetary advance. 4th coordinate continuate UQS-CBPR before, and then there's 6 coordinates, which I'll get into in a sec. Eyes of your eyes, origin, and these coordinates are repeated, and then origin year 8100, about 6,100 years into the future. Or into the past, because it doesn't specify BC or AD. So, you never know. An advanced civilization from the past, maybe? So the coordinates are interesting. 1 is in Sedona, Arizona. 1 is in Belize. 1 is in Nazca, Peru, which is home to the Nazca Lines. There's 1 in the Atlantic Ocean. There's 1 in Greece. There's 1 in Egypt, of course in the Giza Desert, and there's 1 in China. So the thing that's always interested me to no end is origin year 8100. This sounds like some type of time travel element going on here, and it lines up with Michael Masters' theories on future humans visiting us, possibly to harvest DNA for their dying civilization and do other experiments or some type of tests on present human beings. It also kind of lines up with Jason Giorgiani's idea that a human Nordic breakaway civilization traveled back in time around the end of the 20th century to Mars and then eventually made it to Earth thousands of years later. Giorgiani states that this Nordic race is responsible for the craft that we see zipping around today. It's also interesting to note that nukes were stored at RAF Woodbridge and the nearby RAF Bentwaters during this time, and Bentwaters was the site of another UFO incident in 1956, in which radar operators tracked an object traveling from the ocean at several thousand miles per hour, and they also tracked a group of objects from the northeast and one other object approaching from the east to west. So there's definitely been some weird, anomalous activity around this area, so it's not really a surprise that there is a sighting and possibly a contact event in this area. But what do you think happened in Rendlesham Forest that cold night? Do you think it was aliens, interdimensionals, time travelers, a military test or experiment? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, as it does help out the channel. As always, thanks for watching.